Hey guys, this is Waves back with another video on the channel. I'm bringing you another series on the channel. It's regarding a deployment of various technologies on a Linux Ubuntu operating system. So in this video, I'm going to go and install Linux Ubuntu on a VirtualBox 6.0. Also, we're going to install a LAMP stack, which means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So if you heard about WordPress, WordPress is built on a PHP programming language, and most of the websites on the internet use WordPress. So I'm going to show you how you can set up a WordPress on a LAMP stack. Also, we're going to take a look at how you can access that LAMP stack or Apache server outside that VirtualBox. Also, this tutorial will help you to basically understand how you can run your own websites from your home internet. If you have a static IP address, you don't have to go and buy hosting. You just run your WordPress from your home and it will be accessible in the world. Anywhere you go, type your domain name and you can see your website running. Just for a demo, I'm running a couple of websites on my home IP address using the same LAMP stack. So basically I bought a domain from GoDaddy and basically linked those domain DNS to the home IP address where I'm running a LAMP stack on a VirtualBox. So I'm really excited to show you guys how you can do it. And also, not just WordPress, any kind of PHP code will be able to run on the LAMP stack. So this is the exact deployment process that you will take if you deploy your LAMP stack or PHP website on Google Cloud Computing or Amazon Web Service instance, or you can use Microsoft Azure as well. So this is the first video in the series. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can install Ubuntu Live Server 18.04 using VirtualBox 6.0. Now, in this video, we are using the latest version of VirtualBox, version 6.0. As you can see, the UI has been changed and also it looks much better, I guess. So we're going to take a look at some of the new features available in the VirtualBox 6.0 as well. Let me take you to the installation page. So if you go to virtualbox.org, you're going to have to go to download section where you can click on download here. That will take you to the same page. Then you're going to have to download VirtualBox platform packages. So if you're on a Windows, click on here. If you're on OS X, click on OS X host. We have a Linux distro here. And once you download and install, you're going to have to make sure that you install VirtualBox extension pack as well. So here, you're going to click on all supported platform. That will give you this file and you'll double click on that. It will open up VirtualBox and install automatically. Now let's go and create a new VirtualBox. So I'll click on new. And here, first of all, we're going to have to type a name. So let's type a name Ubuntu. And I'm going to go and click on OK, which is continue button. The next option is how much RAM would you like to give to this VirtualBox. So in this MacBook, I have 16 gig. I can allocate 16 gig or I can allocate 4 gig, 5 gig. It depends how fast the system I want. So I'll use 1 gig, which is good enough because there is no UI. It's just a server that we're going to be installing. So let's click on continue, create the hard drive, use the first one, VirtualBox disk image, continue. Now there's two options. Dynamic allocated means that if you create a 100 gig drive, it will not chew up all the space. It will not chew up 100 gig straight away. It basically increases the size dynamically. So the more you use it, the more data you store into that drive, that will be increased up to the limit you define here, dynamically allocated. Also, we have a fixed size option, which means you want to define a 50 gig for the drive. That means that's it. It will take 50 gig straight away. I'll use dynamically allocated, click continue. And here, we want to make sure where do you want to store actual VI drive. So here, first of all, let's select the size. I'm going to leave that 10 gig, which is enough for a server or any kind of server that we want to run. And I'll click on this file folder icon. And here you can see it tells me where it's going to save this file. So it's going to save the file in VirtualBox VMs That's in, I think, in my home directory on a Mac. Windows might be different, but on a Mac it's here. So this is what the folder it's creating with the name of the VirtualBox. Let's click on save, and let's click on create. Now after that, you will have your VirtualBox created. Now you're definitely going to go and install Ubuntu Live Server. So I'm going to start that. Let's just double click on Ubuntu. My bad, I spelled it wrong, but that's supposed to be Ubuntu. Now on a Mac, it says VirtualBox would like to control this computer using accessibility features. So we'll go open preference, and here on accessible features, you're going to go first security and privacy. Click on accessibility, and in this section you will see a VirtualBox. To be able to turn this on, you're going to have to click on this log icon, type the password in, unlock, and then select a VirtualBox as well. Okay, now we close this, we go back, and then here it says please select the virtual optical drive. Now any website you go and you download a Linux distro, in this case we're using Ubuntu, so you'll get an ISO file. That's what you want to select here. So I have the iOS file right on my desktop. So I'll go to desktop and select this Ubuntu Live Server 18.04. Let's click on open. Let's click on start. And at this stage, the VirtualBox is starting. I'm going to increase the size here. This is a little bit smaller because it's just a live server. It's not a UI at all. It's just a live server that is used to actually run a lot of servers. Now, at this stage, we have these are the options that we have. We're going to select a language first. So let's click on, let's basically press enter or return. Yes. I'm going to select all the defaults. Yes, install Ubuntu, done. And then you're going to go done and done and done. So this time you're going to have to click on continue, select that continue. Now we'll change the name to, let's just say Oasis. I'll say server name is test, username I'll use test, password test. All right, let me just go to done. And now at this stage, we will have our Ubuntu getting installed. Alright, so Ubuntu has been installed. So once your system gets reboot, this is the screen that you will see. So remember, I used the test username and test password. So if I go and log in by using the same username and password, I'll go and say if config, and this is the command which will give me an IP address, a local IPv4 address. In this case, it's not giving me anything. So what you need to do, you need to stop the server. Let's power it off. And now let's take a look at the settings that we can change here in the network. So right click, click on settings, and then here you will have all the settings that you can do with your VM. So you have a general name, type is Linux, that's fine. System, here you can see what are the RAM you allocated to it. You have a processor allocated to it, that's 1 core. Acceleration is set to default, but you have a different kind of acceleration. But what I'm interested in here, I'm interested in network tab. So here we have NAT selected. Here instead of NAT, I'm going to select bridge adapter. And now here I'm going to select the Wi-Fi that I'm connecting to. So my Mac will always be connected to this Wi-Fi or some sort of Wi-Fi that I'm using. So I'll select this one. I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to start the server again. Now this time when it gets started, you will notice that we have IPv4 IP address. So it's just rebooting, guys. Give us a second. Okay, so the system has started again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to log in. So I'll type test, and the password is test as well. And I'm going to type a command called if config. Now here I can see the IPv4 address is 192.168.1.14. Now this is basically a live server, and also there's no UI. That's why it's very, very low res, because Mac has a really high definition screen. So I'm going to connect to this server using SSH and using a normal terminal on a Mac. So now what we do is we start with the terminal first. I'm going to connect to the same system using the terminal. Now let's go and connect. Let's connect through SSH to our server. I'll type SSH, a username which is test at 192.168.1.14, and then -p, port is 22. Press enter, and then it's going to ask you what is the password for that. I'll type test. Now as you can see, it has successfully logged into the server, and it's basically saying, hey, documentation is here, management support. It gives you some system information as well, gives you the current date, IPv4 address here, memory usage, swap usage, and it gives you the usage of your hard drive as well, processors, stuff like that. Now it's time for us to install the LAMP server. So what we'll do now is basically we'll install one of the software called taskcell. I'll type sudo app.get install taskcell. Press enter. It's going to ask you for the password. Type the password in, and it's going to go and install a taskcell for you. Now in this case, it's saying taskcell is already installed, and it's a new version of that. So that's good. So how do we start taskcell? Is by typing sudo taskcell. Once you press enter, you'll see this new GUI. No more black screen, guys. So here you can see we have some packages to install, a bundle of packages, which means if you want to create these servers as a DNS servers, you can simply install this package which has multiple packages within this build, and will get your server look like it's a DNS server. Also, we have an option for LAMP server, which means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. You can run WordPress using LAMP server. So we're going to go and install this. Press spacebar to select that. But before we press enter or return, we want to take a look at what are the options available. So we have a mail server, Postgres database server. This is great. We have a Samba file server. This is great as well. Also, if you want to make the server to desktop, Ubuntu desktop, then you can tap here. We'll go and install the desktop, and then we'll make your server as a desktop. All right, but we don't want to do that. So I've selected a LAMP server. I'm going to go press enter or return on the Mac, and now you'll see it's going to go and start downloading that LAMP server, and it's going to install that. Now once we install the LAMP server, it's going to be very, very easy for us to go to the IPv4 address and see what's there. So right now it's just installing PHP, installing Apache server, and also it's installing MySQL stuff. So PHP 7.2 is the latest version that's supported by this taskcell, and that's what we're installing. MySQL server, you can see it's 5.7, AMD64 is supported. That's also the latest one. So Apache has been installed. Let's take a look at the service Apache, if it's running or not. So I'm going to type a command here. I'll type sudo service Apache 2 status. Now as you can see, Apache 2 service is running. That means our Apache HTTP server is running. Now I'm going to show you how you can install and set up WordPress, which is basically built on a programming language called PHP. So if you have any type of PHP code, you should be able to copy paste that code the way I'm going to copy paste for WordPress, and it should be running. Go to the browser and we search for WordPress. So I'll type wordpress.org. I'm going to find where I can download this. So I'll say get WordPress, and here it tells me download WordPress 5.0. So here I have this link, which basically I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to go in the terminal, and I'm going to get that downloaded using curl, or you can use webget as well. So let's just do that. Let me just go cd/, and I'm going to go into temp folder, cd temp, and inside this folder I'm going to download WordPress. For that, we'll type webget, paste the URL, press enter, and it's going to go and download the URL, which is https://wordpress.org/latest.zip, and it's downloading that. Now if I type ls, you can see we have latest.zip, which basically is a WordPress. Next, I'm going to unzip latest.zip file, which has a WordPress in it. So for that, I'm going to try use sudo unzip latest, and it's going to tell me unzip is not installed. So I'm going to install that package by using sudo apt-get install unzip. Alright, it's going to install. It's a very small package, shouldn't take that long. Once that's ready, then we can use the package to unzip that latest folder. So we'll do sudo unzip latest, and this time you can see it's unzipping. I'm going to press ls, and now we have a WordPress folder. If I go inside that folder, you will see we have a WordPress. Let's get out. Now I'm going to move this, and I'm going to copy this folder to this path. So let's do that. Sudo cp, I'm going to use WordPress, and I'm going to copy this to -var www.html. And it's saying, oh, .org not defined. That's fine. We're just going to add that there. So let's or enter, and now that's been copied. So let's go to that folder. So I'm going to type cd var www.html. Now here we can see we have a WordPress, but the problem is we want to have all the content here, not the WordPress folder. That's the problem there. Okay, but anyway, if your Apache is running, and if you go to the browser here, so if I type the IP address, which is 14 IPv4, and you can see Apache Ubuntu default page is running. This is this index file that is getting rendered. Okay, but before I can move the files from here to actually this folder, we're gonna make some configuration. We're gonna basically create a database for this. So let's do that. So I'm gonna go to the home directory, and I'm going to type sudo, and we can say mysql. Now I'm in a MySQL shell where I can use to create a database. So here I'll type a command called create database, and I'll name the database to WordPress. Okay, press semicolon, enter. Now we have a database. Next, I'm going to create a user which have access to that WordPress database. To be able to create a user, you got to write a command which is very simple. Type create user, and in a single quotes I'll type the name of the username, and then also I'll say it's on localhost. Okay, and then we can say it's identified by, and here I'm going to type a password, which is basically we can change this to admin123. Okay, also the word admin for a username would cause a problem, so I will say my name Awais. All right, and then at last we're gonna have to have a semicolon here. I'm gonna press enter, and there you go, we have a user now. Next, I'm going to grant this user all the privileges to a WordPress database. To do that, we'll simply type grant all privileges, and we type the database name, which is WordPress, and then we can say please give it everything by typing dot and asterisk to, let's type the username here, which is Awais at localhost, and then we can say it's identified by admin123, and then enter. Now it says query okay. That means this user has all the privileges for this WordPress website. Now I'm going to flush the privileges as well, so we have to do flush privileges. Okay, just forgot the semicolon, that's fine. Now if I try to connect to this database using WordPress, that should work. We're going to type this username, and we're going to remember this username now. So let's get out from the MySQL shell by typing \q, and let's clear the console. Now let's go and configure the WordPress so we'll be able to run this on Apache server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get inside the WordPress folder first. So I'll type cd var www.html/WordPress. Now here I'm going to open the file name wp config. So here we can see we don't have wp config, but what we're going to do, we want to check this wp config sample. We're going to have to rename this file to wp config. So for that, I'm going to basically copy paste this file, sudo cp and wp config, and I'm going to type wp config.php. Let's refresh, and we have wp config file here now. So let's open that now. So we'll type sudo nano wp config.php file. Now in this file, I'm just going to make the size a bit smaller for the terminal. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to show you a few things where you can change. First of all, here define the database name. If you remember, we mentioned WordPress as a database name. So type WordPress, and username was, and I have a username here always, and the password was admin123, yep. And also in the WordPress, you have to have these salt keys where you can get from a WordPress website. So for now, I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to press Ctrl O to write this file. Let's get out by typing Ctrl X. Now our WordPress is configured. I'm going to configure Apache to tell Apache that please go and look in this folder instead of HTML folder. So I'm going to go to home directory, and here I'm going to type cd etc apache 2, and inside this folder we have few files. We have a sites available folder, we have a sites enabled folder. So we're going to go to sites available folder. So type cd sites available folder, and inside this file, inside this folder, we have 000 default.config. And let's open here. It's saying, okay, I'm gonna go to WordPress folder instead of that folder. So I'll type WordPress. Okay, and anything else that can be configured here is for now all good. Now you're gonna activate the sites. For example, if I show you guys, let's get out one folder behind. So let's do, there's a folder called sites available, and there's a folder called sites enabled. Okay, let's take a look what's in sites enabled. So I'll type cd sites enabled, and here you see the same file is there. It's a little bit bluish color. That means this is enabled. So what we want to do is we want to reset that. So I'm going to go and say a to en, and I'll type the command a to en site, and then 000, and that will automatically take this file. I'm going to press enter, and it says it's already active. So this stage, we are going to reload Apache. So I'm going to go sudo service apache 2 restart, and it's going to restart Apache. At this stage, our WordPress should be configured. Now if I go to the same IP address, press enter, you will see a WordPress installation. There you go. Now here you can see we have a PHP running. We can say, hey, test lab server, username, I'll say admin, and I use this admin as a password, or maybe admin is fine. We just say confirm the weak password. I'll just say test@test.com, and I press install WordPress. It says weak password, that's fine. I'm gonna log in. I'll type admin, enter, and there you go. We have a WordPress, a PHP code actually running 100% on our local IP address. Okay, now again, you could set this to local host something, what you want to do. Also, you could set multiple WordPress websites as well. Right, I think that's good enough for now. You guys can see that Apache is running. So if I type sudo service apache 2 status, you can see Apache is running. Now every time it's basically low res. This is where my VirtualBox is running, guys. It's very low res because the iMac has a really high definition screens. That's why it's very low res, and there's no GUI at all. Now at this stage, what we have done so far in this video is we have installed Ubuntu on an Oracle VirtualBox. We have set up a lab, which means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. We have successfully configured WordPress on our Apache server. So the next time, if I just start Ubuntu, it is not going to ask us to start Apache. Apache is automatically started. It's in a service and it's on the startup. So this is how you set up your Amazon, AWS, Linux instance, Google Compute instance, or Microsoft Azure. Anywhere you're running a Linux, Ubuntu, this is how you set up for LAMP server. And I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. And if you do, please do make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.